Hello, friends. Welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be designing a nautical-themed health planner spread for the next week in June. I'll be creating a line vertical layout in my classic Happy Planner, so come plan with me. And I've got these Tombow brush tip markers ready to go, as well as this metallic pen from Uniball, this blending palette and water brush pen, these stat stickers that I made on my computer, this washi tape I got from Daiso, these Happy Planner sticker books that I'll pull from, and these rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree. So this is the second week of the June Plannable Challenge, and this week's theme is Feeling Nautical. So if you'd like to participate, go ahead and post your spreads up on Instagram using the hashtag PlannableJune2023. We'd love to see what you come up with. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and lay down some wax paper to get things started this week. And for this theme, I really just did not have a ton of stickers to work with. I remembered that I had these rub-on transfer stickers that I bought from the Dollar Tree a couple months ago and thought it would be a good fit for this week's theme. So to start off, I'm going to go ahead and lay down some of this wall washi that I got from Daiso and create a sand-like element here at the bottom of the page. I'm going to be careful to line up the texture lines as best as I can on the two sides so it looks seamless. In the past, I've been a little less careful with that, and it's, pretty apparent that you'll see a nice seam there where they meet up. So I definitely was taking my time trying to match up the grain pattern on the washi tape when I laid it down. That way it creates kind of like a layered sand look, which I think will look nice with these shells that I'll be putting in it here at the bottom. And just going to go ahead and lay these guys in like they're sitting on the bottom of the sea. I'm cutting them out. So with rub-on transfers, they are a little bit different. They have a backing and a covering, if you will, to protect the transfer itself. And then what you need to do is remove the backing, and when you're ready to use the transfer, then rub off the actual element from the front part onto the paper, and then it creates a seamless look, like it's printed on the page, if you will. So they're really cool, and if you've never used them in your planner before, I highly recommend them. I've done them before in the past, and it's just a nice way to make a design look like it's part of your page itself. Like stickers sit on top of the page, whereas rub-on transfers really get embedded into the page. So it's a nice, interesting way to incorporate some elements into your page to make them look like they're pretty much printed on the sheet. So I've already laid in my stat stickers, and I'm trying to hold off on printing more of those because I think I might want to change my setup for the second half of the year. So I'm just using what I had left over. I had some black and some purple ones that I thought would work here with this theme. I also pulled some boxes and a couple of decorative elements from that color story sticker book there on the side. That's pretty much it, I think, as far as stickers. I may go into the colorful boxes sticker book later. That's why I pulled it, in case I want to add some workout boxes. But for the most part, we're going to keep most of the decor here at the bottom. So let's go ahead and prepare to move things onto the page. I am going to white out the darker black lines here just at the bottom, where I'm going to be putting these transfers and the washi tape, just to make it look a little bit cleaner. I'm not going to bother doing all the lines, it's a bit much, but I think just those darker lines really stand out when you put things on top of them, so we'll just stick with those lines and try to make those look a little bit less prominent on the page. And now here comes the fun part. I'm going to try and do some watercolor on this sheet. I am just using my standard HP 32 premium paper this month. Last month I did use a heavier stock paper in my daily section of my planner when I printed my inserts so that I could do more mixed media. But honestly, I just don't like how yellow the paper is, and the texture of the paper is just a little bit, I don't know, just not my jam. So I really love the smooth white brightness of this paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to watercolor on top of it. It's a little thin, so you'll see there is some wrinkling on the page. But I go light enough so that it really doesn't bleed through the page. It just kind of maybe ghosts the backside a little bit, makes it a little bit darker from the backside when I use the darker colors. And again, it does wrinkle the page a little bit. So just something to keep in mind if you are going to try some mixed media in your planner. The weight of your paper really makes a difference. If you go a lot heavier, you can get away with a lot more. The 32-pound paper holds up pretty nicely, but again, it's not ideal. It still does absorb some of the water and can have a little bit of ghosting and or bleed through if you go really heavy. So just keep that in mind. And all I did there was mix two Tombow colors together to kind of get this green that is similar to the shell green that I have there on the rub-ons. And then I'm wet my water brush a little bit, so the tip is just kind of moistened, and rub in the ink all in around here at the bottom. That's just going to create a base layer for where I'm going to put these rub-on transfers. I'm going to lay in the rest of the stickers while that part of it dries. Just putting them straight onto the page. All the supplies that I use in my videos will be down below in the description, so if that's something you are looking for, do check the description of the video to find out more. This one was already cut out from a previous sticker, so I'm reusing that. Also, I have this anchor that came from that color storybook. Okay, so we're going to start putting in the washi tape and the transfers now. And I've removed the backing on these two shells. So all you need to do once that is done is to rub on top of the film that holds the transfer and rub it pretty good so that it sticks down to the page. And then peel off that transfer. First part there is done. We'll go ahead and move over this next section of the washi tape. Again, kind of creating that sandbar effect here with the shells inside. And again, I'm just going to reposition this transfer a little bit better around the whole of the spine. The good thing about the transfers is that once they're down, they don't create like a sticker would where there's like a clear film around it. So it's pretty much like it's drawn on the page instead of stuck down on the page. I like that so I don't have to clean out any holes or anything like that. It's just a nice seamless look there. And I'm just going to cut down the washi tape and make that even with all the edges. And here's something I didn't really think about on the other side of the page, but I wanted to make sure that the tops were aligned nicely on this side. So I went ahead and just trimmed that out there on the wax paper. And let's go ahead and move over a couple more of these rub-ons in preparation for the washi tape overlay. One thing that's a little bit annoying is that the lines that I white over kind of have a resist to them when you put ink on top of them, at least the water ink. So it makes it a little bit harder to color over them in that watercolor effect. You can kind of see the lines showing through. So occasionally I would go back with the Tombow fine tip edge of the marker and try to camouflage those a bit, just using the marker straight on top of it. That works sometimes. It still kind of shows through, but it feels a little more blended, I think, than just leaving it as is. So I tried to do that through most of the lines, as you'll see. And let's go ahead and lay in this washi tape. Smooth that out. And then I'm just going to create kind of a rough edge there on the side so that I don't cover up my hydration tracker. And then put in the rest here on this side. I decided to line up the seam of the washi tape with one of the day lines just to help camouflage it a little bit better, since it's not a perfect match. I think that worked out pretty well. So now I'm going to lay in some of this silver ink that I pulled for this spread, mainly because I have a little bit of silver in that one sticker that's there in the sidebar that says Mermazing, and I thought it'd be kind of a nice way to create some bubbles for a more under the sea type effect. So I'm just drawing in some smaller and bigger circles in and around the shells, and maybe a little bit up here in the sidebar as well, just to carry that theme forward. Also thought about layering in more of the washi tape on top of each other to create some layers down here, but honestly it just didn't really have the effect. You couldn't really see it on top of each other, so I decided not to do that. Next, I decided to add a bit more color down here at the bottom. I was really originally thinking that I would stick to the purple and green tones for this theme, but it just really wasn't giving me the vibes that I was envisioning, mainly because the shells are hidden behind or on top of the background, so you can't really even see the green and the purple of the shells very well. So instead, I decided to add in more of that watercolor feel, kind of going off of the sticker there in the sidebar with a mix of the blue and the green and the purple to create, again, more of a kind of magical underwater feel, more mermazing, if you will. So I'm just adding a bit more of the straight on blue tone that I had pulled from the Tombow markers here and mixing that in with the green that's already there. Pulling it into from what was left over there on the palette. And then I'll pepper in just a smidge of the purple. Let's go ahead and lay the purple down here at the top and maybe have it blend out into some of the bluer tones. And that'll be a header section for my workouts. Help bring some color up here at the top. And then I'll also mix in, again, some of that purple down here at the bottom for more of that mixed watercolor look. I think this turned out pretty good in the end, adding the 3 colors instead of just sticking with the one. Adds a lot more dimension, I think, to the spread, so I was glad I added that in the end. Adding it on top of the rub-on transfers was a bit like adding it on top of that white pen. There's like a resist to some areas of the transfer, so just keep that in mind if you are going to be using these two things together. They don't always blend. And that will do it, friends. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.